what the F we've been up to. And it's going to be fantastic. And I like to call this COMICSGATE tonight. That's my little cute version of the show. And I will, it's still private, so people don't know what we're doing just yet. Live now. Okay, and all it says is add and post. That I have to edit that. Live now. Okay, that's enough to make me completely nuts. One more time. Sorry, guys. I haven't really done this just yet with this new software. Live events.
It says we're live up there.
It does say live, but it's private, so nobody. Well, actually, this is going to be part of it too, isn't it? Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, after but if
oh, you know what? It's funny as hell. It's funny as hell. So we're going to use it. We're going to just go with it.
Yeah, just pretend that it's a sketch.
It is a sketch.
Yeah, we were.
I got Wenger here. Shit happens when you bring Wenger.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
This is just a joke, you know. We're not really goobs.
No, we did this on purpose. Holy cow. This is mind-blowing. All right, we're going to get this fixed. No problem. I just click on this. Micah, your career, it's this is mind-blowing. All right. I am the king of Echo. Echo is what I do. All right, guys, I'm going to list our books right here. It's very important. People have a way to have an easy link for the books. I'm going to put okay. I'm going to put Ethan's book there as well.
Yeah, give a little back to the big man.
Oh, we love that guy. Fucking crazy for that man. Gave
us a real good night last night.
Oh, he's just such a generous guy, and he can't do enough for everybody. His only thing is he's got to work with people that appreciate him. That's all. So we're gonna go public with this. Fantastic. Okay.
Well, this is what I would say to Ethan. You know, when people backstab him and everything. Well, no matter what you do,
we are super live. We're super live right now.
Okay. Well, you know, no matter what you do, there's going to be people that don't like you. What I say is, like, there was people that didn't like Jesus. So can you imagine, like, this, you know, that guy that's going around, like, healing people of their sickness and, like, just helping people and being a genuinely nice guy? I hate that guy.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, how much nicer could you be? This is fantastic. So I'm Adam Post. How you doing? It's great to see everybody. This is COMICSGATE tonight we're working on Streamlabs. So it's kind of just working out the tech stuff. We're getting it all figured out. And we are lucky enough to have MICAH Curtis, whose name I pronounced correctly.
Yes.
An amazing book called ENGLEWOOD that we're going to talk about. And, I mean, Wenger. That is a one-word name if there ever was one. The miraculous Wenger. And we're going to talk about his amazing book, Super Harem. And I am going to just get this updated just in 1 second. So, Micah, you were on with me and Wenger last night on Ethan Van Sciver's show, COMICSGATE Live, when he launched his new Vampirella book. It was kind of amazing. Did you break your goal already? Just from
Not quite. We're close, though. Very close. We are less than $400 away from it. And I'm just I believe it was Eric told me once, he's like, refresh culture is real. I've just been hitting that all day. It's like, who's backing? Who's backing? Who's backing? Come on, get me there. So we're very, very close, though. I'm super excited about how well it's done so far.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about it is I noticed that everybody who sees your project seems to be interested, and you get really, really good feedback. You know, the first project that I ever did was a long, long, long time ago, and you know, people like the idea of it, but I don't think I got such positive feedback. Same with you, Wenger. Everybody seems to like Super Harem as well.
Yeah, we're having a good time. All of us, the three of us, you know, we're just having fun. We're not out causing trouble. That's what people want. They don't want all this crazy stuff that goes on. They want to have fun. Comics are about fun. And that's what I'm bringing to the table, and I know you guys are too.
Well, you're definitely delivering on the fun part. You were a hit last night on Ethan's show. Is that the first time you were on Ethan's show?
Yeah, that was the first time I've been on there, and we did really well, and that's why I don't usually drink. I quit a while ago, but I'm having a couple beers tonight to celebrate. I got a brand new mic. I figured my audio's been trash for 2 years. It was time to upgrade.
Oh,
Hey guys, what's up?
Vinny! So, excuse me for yelling Vinny. But it's Vinny. I mean, come on. It's Vinny.
Adam loves me.
Vinny, yeah, I'm fucking nuts for you, man. Excuse the language, but it's the way it is. It's the way it is.
Thank
you
you,
got
brother.
funny stories too. And Vinny has a really cool book called City of Venus.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very cool science fiction book. It has taken off well. Vinny, you met your goal as well too already, right?
Right. I'm trying to get to the stretch goal, which I'll add 4 more pages of like behind the scenes stuff and some sketches, that kind of stuff.
Vinny, where were you last night when we were on EVS's show and everybody was like major banking it and exciting stuff was going on?
Apparently, StreamYard can only do 6 people at.
Yeah, and
that's what happened. How can I get on?
All right. So you had better things to do.
What are you talking about?
I'm messing with you, brother. I'm messing with you, and I'm finding the link for City of Venus because everybody better find City of Venus.
Why don't you tell me you were stalling?
Well, Kyle was generous enough to say because he'd been owned a lot that he would give a spot up to somebody that hadn't been owned.
Who said that?
Kyle
did.
You should have hit him up.
He's a good man. That's a very nice thing to do.
Oh,
Very generous.
Well, we want everybody to succeed. That's the amazing thing is, I don't even see barely healthy competition in COMICSGATE. It's like everybody's like, look, I just want this guy to hit his goal. I want him to be able to put his book out. I want to help if he has a problem with a printer or an artist or production or whatever it is. And, you just don't see that. There's another thing that I've seen in the COMICSGATE guys, and I don't know how much other experience people have. I have some experience with dealing with other comics publishers and publishing over time, and you just don't see people doing their best work the way that everybody in COMICSGATE, like at least the group of, I'm going to say 20 to 25 guys that I interact with, including you guys and more, I just see people doing like their best work ever. And really,
that's what, iron sharpens iron, when you're in a real meritocracy like we have, like you want to rise, you want to do the best you can to get noticed, like you are competing, but at the same time, we know that there's a large audience that's hungry for this kind of content. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt any of us to help somebody else.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like a book like ENGLEWOOD, it doesn't compete with Super Harem. They're just different kinds of books. It doesn't, and none of our books like compete with each other's really. No one's doing, I'm doing a zombie apocalypse story set in a college. That's not competitive with anything else. Yeah, all of us are, and the other thing is that we are getting to be known by our fans and by individual people who are interested in comics and how they're made too. So it's like,
right.
Wenger is a different personality than is MICAH, than is Adam Post. Pretty much identical to Vinny.
Are you really you're not the same person?
95%. 95%.
No, him and Billy Tucci are.
I'm half the speed of a Billy Tucci. What's funny is like Billy doesn't know what to make of that, I think, because I haven't discussed my nickname and how I did message him about it.
But you were on.
He's very busy and it's silly. So unless you see it in context, he's not going to get it. But so I'm making references to that still pretty regularly. And he likes a lot of the things that I post, but he doesn't like when I mention that. So, but I'll have to talk to him about it. Obviously, it's all in good fun. But we do.
Yeah, he's a good sport.
Yeah. He's such a good-hearted guy, really is. So, City of Venus. This is your screen that you sent me, I think, or somebody did.
Yeah.
So, Vin, you're pretty high tech that you can send this around.
This is the first time I've ever been on this StreamYard, so I was hoping I did it right.
I don't even still don't know what you did, but I see City of Venus is like on the screen, so that must have been the intention, unless someone's playing a terrible joke on us.
Yeah, because I can't do my cam. It's such a piece of shit. So it'll look like I'm in a 70s porn. You know, it's all grainy and blurry.
We are not supposed to talk about your previous career there. Now, can you screen through some of this, man, and tell us like, give us the elevator pitch. Like, what is City of Venus, Dead City about?
Well, the elevator pitch was it's a post-apocalyptic action sci-fi story, and it's about a woman who unknowingly has the power to save the world or destroy it.
So she's got this power, and she doesn't know that she has it.
Right. And this whole world, it's void of technology, except for the people that are living in this floating city. And it's like the ultra elite, the smartest minds, the scientists, the doctors, engineers, you name it, they're in there. But essentially, they're working on how to prolong lives. And it's just the lives of the people that are living there. These, the ultra elite. Everyone else they don't care about. That's why it's kind of like they're separated from the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is completely dead. And if they find survivors who are kind of like really hidden underground, they'll take them and they'll experiment on them, because they're not going to experiment on their own people until they have something that actually works. So, and in most cases, things have been failing over and over, so they just toss them back down there. So that's why you have people who kind of look like zombies or mutated. And I'm going to show different versions of those kind of people.
You've done a lot of development on this. Like,
oh yeah, like
this is it. People could just kind of glance at this, but this is like. So I've published a science fiction line of comics, Triumphant Comics, and Ethan knew one of them, Chromium Man, from the mid-90s, whatever. We actually had to spend a lot of time on development because you use science fiction, and to have anything be believable, right, you have to make decisions about, well, the world is like this, and this is how they have power and food and technology. And I'm just looking at your stuff, and unless you borrowed all of it from somewhere else, like this is a lot of work.
Yeah, I've been developing this for over a decade, I would say. Wow. Just kind of like bits and pieces here and there throughout the different freelance jobs I was getting. I'd always take time and kind of work on stuff. So, yeah, this first issue, I'm just scratching the surface, and I just kind of want to show people the world. And then, yeah, I'm going to be breaking down those elements, like you said, food, water, how they get their supplies, what's going on. How are they surviving, especially that they're kind of way underground? Yeah. Why they're coming to the surface every now and then. Like, I'm going to have a lot of different moments that you'll see more of the world and the rules behind it, pretty much.
Micah,
so,
let me ask a Micah question.
Okay.
You have very interesting thoughts on stuff. So, for like a sci-fi apocalypse type of story, what's the kind of stuff that really grabs you?
For me, it's always, oddly enough, and Vinny's nailed it, is how how people are staying alive, specifically the elites. So kind of the way that you're going with it reminds me of Altered Carbon in a lot of ways, with the, the elites are basically trying to live forever. And right. I've always loved that concept because, I've always found it interesting when people always say, I wouldn't want to live forever. Bullshit, you wouldn't,
Yeah.
We would all love to add 20 years onto our lives or go back to a day when our hairlines were receding or what have you.
Well, especially equality years, like being like, wow, when you were feeling invincible in your early 20s, and it's like, I can't conceive of even getting sick.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so that's one thing I'm always curious about. Is how people are surviving and how they're living and what they're doing to do so. So that definitely is what I always look for. And I think, yeah, it looks like you've got a good concept with this one for sure.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
How about you, Wenger? Like, are you into the apocalypse stuff as well? I love apocalypse stuff.
Well, to me, like, I would buy Vinny's book just because the art's so good. He's got a good story and interesting setup. So, but like just the way it looks, it has drawn me in. By the way,
guys.
I think you have somebody in the waiting room.
Adam?
Yeah, your audio just dropped.
Let's say half speed Tucci just became silent Tucci.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way this works is people come in and they're in like a green room. I think Scott is waiting to be let in.
Yep.
Okay.
You do have. Oh, you're muted, Adam. Do you hear me?
All right, I'll unmute. How about that?
There we
There
go.
we go.
All right, I can unmute. I could mute. Let me get Scott.
We missed your voice.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Hey, brother.
You have kicked
Hey,
the
Scott.
door open. So,
Sometimes it's got to be done.
all right, the creator and publisher of Door Kickers, and we want to talk about Door Kickers. I have good news for you, Vinny. You're going to be helping today with using this special Vinny screen to get us through some of these campaigns, and because obviously we need a little help. So we were just going through Vinny's amazing sci-fi apocalypse property that he's actually been developing this comic and this world for 10 years, and it's funny because Von Klaus says the same thing about Monster MD. It's like these are people's passion projects that probably, let's face it, in a lot of cases wouldn't necessarily ever get done because you spend 10 years working on something. It's either coming out or it's not coming out at that point. But that's why you could look at this and you can see so much amazing work in City of Venus. That's really, really, really cool and nice.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
nice
this piece was the 5K stretch goal. So everyone's gonna get pretty much like a postcard type size image of this for free. All my backers. So if you bought the book, you're gonna get this extra piece thrown in.
And you have some other stretch going on?
Yeah, at like I said, at the 7K. Where did I put that? I haven't been on this in a little while.
So what's going on with her shoes in there? It looks like her shoes have got some kind of sci-fi thing going on.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of so she can kind of scale buildings and walls and stuff like that. I'm gonna put these little elements all over.
I saw it
but yeah,
was glowing. I thought that was cool.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, because she's kind of this isn't really her world that she knows. That main character, she wakes up on a rooftop. She has no idea how she got there, what happened. She's never seen a floating city before. So the audience is we're going to be following the main character, and you're going to see kind of through her eyes what happened. And around issue 2 is when I'm going to go more into her story of who she is, how she got there, some more of the science behind the world, what got her to this point. So it's going to be a little bit of a journey, but it's going to be well worth it. There's tons of action in this, a lot of cool sci-fi things, obviously hot chicks. But yeah, it has a lot more that I can't really say without spoiling things.
All right, Vinny, let's just do a quick run through on the tiers, okay?
Yeah, we'll scroll up. Okay, so my featured one is the signed comic book, City of Venus, with volume 2 of my art book. So the campaign I had before this one, I had done volume 1, which is like a collection of some of like my best pieces that I've done over the years, superhero stuff, portrait work, you name it, movie stuff. I mean, everything's kind of like in it. So I split them up into 2 books. So this is the volume 2 of it. This is a 52-page full colored art book. More hot chicks, pinups, cool stuff like that. The other campaign is still going on as well. I put a link. So as you guys scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see like that's actually in volume 2, which was like the Centaur. I had showed you down there and stuff. But there's a link underneath, so you could actually get volume by itself just to check out the work. It's in demand right now.
Very cool.
Tier 2 is the book by itself, City of Venus, signed by me for $20. About a week or so ago, I added this other tier. You get 2 copies for $30 and get one half off. So if you want to, get it CGC graded or something, you could do that or give it to a friend.
Excellent. Also for shipping, right? That's great on shipping for like international shipping and stuff.
Yeah, you're definitely saving on that. So the next tier is $120. You get the comic book, volume 2 of my art book, and original artwork. You get a head sketch of one of the characters from City of Venus. And I'd put one on Twitter, I think, last week. So yeah, the level of details up there. It's pencil, but it's very, very tight. Line work is really good. And then for the most expensive tier is if you just want to jump in on volume 1 and 2 of the art books together, plus City of Venus and the head sketch. So I got a
Very
few of
cool.
those. Thanks, man.
Very cool.
I try to keep.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
No, I was saying I was trying to keep it have so many different tiers and stuff. Since I'm doing everything by myself, including all the artwork of the book. Oh, by the way, the comic book is finished. It's completed. I'm just going to be waiting from Indiegogo once the campaign's done, and then I could go to print. So everything will be ready for everyone.
Excellent. And so you've got it's 52 pages. It's full color.
Yeah, the art
print.
books.
And you're
the art books. The City of Venus is 28 pages. But if I hit 7K, I'm gonna up it to 32 pages. So I'll put some behind the scenes stuff in there. But so everyone knows, the sequel to this book, and anything after that is gonna be closer to 40 pages. I'm gonna go oversize in page count with the next issues, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, you're gonna really need that to tell the whole story. There's so much story to tell.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a whole world.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fantastic, man. All right, Vinny, I'm going to ask you to help us move. Let's just do something for Ethan right now. We got to appreciate that, man. Can you you see the link for the red foil Vampirella? Can you just put that up on your Vinny screen?
Where is that?
Or go into Indiegogo.
All right,
and just put in Vampirella, or you can get the link off of the private chat that we have.
You figured out how to do this, so now you have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You figured this out.
All he's doing is
you guys have to
here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Anyone
pretty
can do
easy.
it.
Hey, Adam, so if you look down next to where the green room is, see the little control panel? It says share screen.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a little too easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
I did this the other day with Antonio, so I got at least one rep under my belt with this.
We need that. We all need that practice.
Hold on. I think I got it.
Power card deck too. Okay, we're gonna share screen then. All right, Marty Pants, you're absolutely right. Share screen.
It's coming up.
Bing bang boom. You keep working on it. I'll keep working on it. We'll get there in the morning.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. And can you guys see it?
Well, I have it up.
Yeah, we're looking at Vampirella. You have it up. Thank you, Vinny. Scott, do you see the Vampirella?
Yeah, I got it. We haven't caught up yet on YouTube, but okay, I think we're up now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, look, this is not any of our campaigns, but this is one of our brothers, Ethan Van Sciver, who's been great to all of us. And he just launched this yesterday. And what is this? Well, this is Vampirella #1 with an exclusive Ethan Van Sciver Vampirella Cyberfrog crossover cover. And the crossover is just on the cover. Cyberfrog is not on the inside of this book. But this is Vampirella #1, written by Christopher Priest. And this has an amazing cover by Ethan. He's got a great relationship, apparently, with Dynamite Comics. And Ethan's first Vampirella crossover cover book just recently closed. And that was a really cool cover as well with Vampirella and Cyberfrog. And people loved it. He sold like $70,000 worth. So now he and Dynamite are coming back with this. This is a red foil original cover, drawn by Ethan, color by the incredible Kyle Ritter that we're all blessed to know. Man is an amazing colorist.
Awesome.
And yeah, he's something else. And you could just see the artwork. When Ethan does something, he does it to the max. It's an amazing, amazing piece. You've got a gorgeous Vampirella piece here, and you've got Cyberfrog looking on in the background. And of course, he's fighting those freaking evil hornets. And lots of blood on Vampirella. She's always got the blood because she's an alien vampire lady. So The main purpose of this was to really just produce something special to celebrate Vampirella #1 coming out, which is actually a huge, huge hit in comic stores. It sold apparently over 130,000 copies, plus whatever this book sells. But that's the great thing about this book as well, is it's only available directly through Ethan on this Indiegogo. It's not going to be sold to comic stores. It's not going to be sold through Dynamite just this way. And it's got a red foil where the logo's at. So that's going to be printed in red foil. I've done some covers like that before. They really do look amazing with the spot foil template. And I'm sure her leg is going to be going over the foil. It'll be a little complicated for them to do, but it will look fantastic. And they're also doing a black and white, no logo version. So just the black and white, beautiful cover, which really, Kyle is great, but you get a whole different look when you do the black and white, especially because Vampirella used to be a black and white magazine. So it's cool, always cool to see Vampirella in black and white. And because you're doing foil, when you're printing foil, you need a special template design to do it. And then usually you can only print like a certain number with that template. So I'm assuming they're making a custom template, especially because her leg is in front of the Vampirella logo. So it's going to be, for them to do this, they're going to have to make a custom die, as they call it. But in any case, so they'll make that die, but they're doing a red foil. They're doing also a silver foil and a gold foil. I mean, like highly, highly collectible stuff. He's got the price at $20 each. And he's got black and white comic signed, which, to be honest with you, he's got the black and white logo variant. Okay, so he's got a black and white version. That's okay. The black and white logo version is signed. So these are unsigned when you're getting the black and white logo version, and the red foil version, the silver foil version, the gold foil version, all unsigned until you get to these tiers. So the black and white version signed is $35. He's got the red foil signed as an option, silver foil signed as an option, gold foil signed as an option, and then he also has this poster of this artwork. And I've heard from a couple people that once they got the comics and the poster, they really liked the comics and they were crazy for the poster, because the poster, if this poster is the same as the other one, which I'm sure it is going to be 18 by 24 inches. So if you can imagine a poster that's 2 feet by 3 feet, it's really like 2 feet by half of 3 feet. So it's still a very big, beautiful poster, printed really high quality paper. And then Ethan also gives you the option, if you want to just get one of everything, you can get one of everything for $60. You can get a signed poster, one of everything signed, a hand-drawn sketch from Ethan. I mean, really a hand-drawn original sketch from Ethan on, I'm assuming, a sketch cover of Vampirella or of a frog. I assume it's going to be Cyber Frog. Though we might do any other frog if you want to, but who wouldn't? You know, just go with the Cyber Frog. So this is on Indiegogo right now. He just opened yesterday, already up to $16,478. This looks like a fantastic campaign and really one that is really, really worth a look. All right. I want to move right over to our friend MICAH. So I'm going to look up. So see, I did it. MICAH.
Thank you.
Brother, you know, we're working on this. We're trying to get all the technology to work at the same time. Let's jump right over to MICAH and Englewood #1, which is just so close to getting funded. Guys, to the extent humanly possible, let's share out the stream. Drop them in groups, whatever you got, just so people get to see what mischief we're up to. And, Vinny, you know what? Let's close out your extra screen thingy and move you to your other account or something. You know what I mean? In case, actually, it's a good excuse for me to not have to juggle another person, but however you want to do it. Keep those two open or just drop out of one of them. Up to you, brother. All right.
I can
just
stop sharing. I can stop sharing. I can stop sharing screen. You could do it if that's what you want.
Yeah, let's do. Yeah, if you know what? Never mind. Let's just leave it alone before I break something. Let's just talk about Englewood. I have Englewood on the screen, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And he looks like he's a little bit mad at me, or he's like, Adam, what are you saying there? You better get to it. All right. We are getting to it. So Englewood #1. This is your first comic that you're publishing, Micah, and tell us a little bit about it, okay?
Sure. So elevator pitch is that a undefeated mixed martial arts champion is disgraced at the end of his career by a positive drug test showing that he was on painkillers for his most recent fight, effectively ending his career. So he goes home, gets himself clean, decides to become a philanthropist. And in standing up to one of the local gangs, a tragedy strikes his life, and afterwards decides to put on the armor, suit up, and go take the fight back to the gangs that wronged him.
Very cool. Very cool.
And the campaign has been updated again, by the way. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see one of the pages of the comic completely colored.
Am I clicking on updates?
Beautiful.
Scrolling straight down.
It's right there.
No, Adam, I got it. I've been scrolling and showing it.
Yep.
Oh, we're looking at yours. We're not looking at my screen.
Nope.
Right.
Well, fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Vin.
No problem.
We'll figure this out eventually.
Wenger,
I got you.
I blame you
I
for
got
most of this, Wenger.
I'm a bad luck charm.
You know, you are not a bad luck charm. That's a horrible thing to say.
I just realized that my new mic was
wow.
even
Yeah,
while I
that's
was using.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like yesterday, and it was very cool then. I'm looking at it now. It's freaking cool again.
Yeah, Armand Strange, my colorist, is very, very, very good at what he does, to say the least. He's working very hard on this, but he wanted to get this page out before everything else, just to kind of communicate the life that the lead character used to lead, and as you scroll down, you see just like different highlights of his career and things along those lines. A rivalry that gets pretty nasty, and it's right now. Brian, my artist, who has his own YouTube channel, you can just find him under Brian Martinez, is actually live drawing this every day.
Wow.
So yeah, he's
very cool.
Yeah, so he's doing
channel?
fantastic. Yep. So he and it's something that I've encouraged just about everybody that I work with to do. As I said, you cannot underestimate how much marketing a comic book on YouTube works, because not everybody's on Twitter, but a lot of people have YouTube accounts, that they can watch and check out. So, in fact, when I checked my metrics last night on the campaign, it's like half of what I have made was just in a video I was doing, just throwing a link of the comic in there,
And you have a great following. Your YouTube. What's your YouTube channel, Micah?
It's just under my name, Micah Curtis. And right now I'm taking a little bit of a break from it. I'm starting part of the background is I'm starting a new day job on Monday for the same company I've been working for. I just got promoted, basically. So I wanted a little bit of time to adjust to that. Plus, I've got a conference I'm going to that weekend, where I'll be in Chicago the whole weekend as well. So it's like I kind of want to back up for a little bit, improve some things on my end too, and then go from there.
You also had a really popular video on SJWs. You had like 500,000 views.
500,000 views. Yeah, that was actually pre-COMICSGATE, oddly enough. That one was something I did randomly. I because at the time my channel was sort of a catch-all. I just talked about whatever I wanted to, and I did a video on that, and it hit big, and I just got encouraged by other people. They just basically told me behind the scenes, they're like, comic book fans are hurting right now.
Yeah,
and this is 2 years ago. And they said they're hurting right now because it seems like the people that they rely on to tell them these good stories month to month are just refusing to do so.
So you're really saying what a lot of people were thinking. So it really resonated.
Basically. And, ever since then, it's just sort of spiraled out of control. But I just remember looking at, because I hadn't picked up a comic in a while, at least nothing that wasn't like on occasion I would read Spawn, or I would, but a lot of other characters, like the only thing that had caught my attention to really come back was they were making Eddie Brock Venom again. And I'm like, oh, okay, well now I'm invested, because Venom's my favorite character of all time.
Venom's cool.
Oh yeah. And but anyway, some people just showed me a couple of things. Like they showed me the infamous Mockingbird cover that said, "Ask me about my feminist agenda."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what does this have to do with superheroes?
What at all, right?
Yeah. And I started delving into it, into some other stuff I saw people complaining about. I just put my ear to the ground for a few days. And I'm like, this should be discussed. I don't know if it's going to, if anybody's going to pay attention to it, but somebody needs to say something. So I did. And then afterwards, there were just people that were like, stick around, keep talking comics. And it's been like this ever since. And then,
Micah, speaking of that too, like just like a little bit of a personal thing, is we did a long form interview, and I just thought it was really interesting about how your personal life relates to a little bit of the world of Englewood. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. So with me, I mean, I'm originally a Chicago native, lived in the suburbs, but I've always considered Chicago my city. And Englewood, for those who don't know what the namesake is the roughest part of Chicago. It's crime-ridden, gang-ridden, drug-ridden. It's not a nice place. And I've known quite a few people though who grew up there and then moved away from it. And there was one particular thing that started to spawn this idea. Was I was working at a hotel as a security guard, and let me tell you, first off, trying to break up a fight in a 3-piece suit, not something you want to do. Trust me, it's not fun. But afterwards, there was a girl who worked there who we were talking, and she was going to be going on bereavement leave for a few days. And I'm like, well, so I'm like, what happened? And she goes, well, one of my cousins got shot. And I had noticed that she had taken a lot of time off work lately. I said, how many times have you gone on bereavement leave? And she goes, 4 times. She's like, there's been 5 of my relatives been shot in the last 4 weeks. And I'm like, holy crap. So, and that was just sort of the reality of, or still is the reality of Chicago. It's become the murder capital of the world. So I thought to myself, it's like, why not create a character, that basically pushes back against this sort of thing?
Yeah.
And Englewood is the lead character, Isaiah Wallace, who later becomes known as the Saint of Englewood. He is that character. And basically what I'm going to be doing, and hopefully be doing for a long time with this comic, is introducing people to all the, definitely very comic booky stuff. I mean, you look at the cover, there's ninjas, there's a giant dude who looks like a Bobo from Double Dragon and all this other crazy stuff going on. But there's also some grounded elements to it as well. There's there's going to be depictions of gang violence, and how rough it gets, and the drug peddling that goes on and things like that. You would describe this as a street level story. I really
exactly.
Like Yep. So if you're into Batman, if you're into Daredevil,
Frank Miller, Daredevil.
Yeah, Frank Miller is easily my biggest influence with this book. Things along those lines, even stuff like David Michelini's Spider-Man run back in the 90s, or what's another really good example? I can't say the Punisher because
Chuck Dixon.
Yeah, Chuck's Batman is another big influence as well. I've had lengthy conversations with Chuck about his Batman work, so that was a dream come true for sure. But yeah, things along those lines, like back when those comics were back, throughout the 90s, I always felt like the street level stuff was pretty good, and then the early 2000s as well, it sort of had a resurgence. So I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy this sort of thing, because I know a lot of people are dissatisfied with how Daredevil's gone lately, especially how Batman's gone, and things like that. And I want to deliver that type of gritty, grounded experience that's able to make sometimes the ridiculous seem plausible, because it's grounded in just enough real to make it just be one of those things that you can't help but keep turning the pages. And I have a feeling once this is done, people are going to be begging me for the next issue. I'm going to be like, gotta wait. So,
yeah. So this is really the story of a hero.
Oh yeah, this is superhero stuff. I love Cape Comics. I love superheroes, and I figured like I might as well create my own, and get people.
I really like the life experience part, because you know, it's so relevant to you, and it's relatable. It's relatable to you to tell a story, and it's for the other people. You know, having ninjas and things like that, making it like a little metaphorical like that. You know, it's not a problem. It's just, you know, a little bit of eye candy, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, so it still is maintained as a very cool story, and the kind of book like that. You know what? If people are in a tough spot and they see a book like this, and it's like that's one of the things that inspires us as a hero. You know, that's something we need in comics, and something we need in stories. We need in our culture is those kind of positive stories. That's the kind of story you want to give to a kid to read. Be like, hey, this is what you should be doing. Think about it. What would Englewood do in this situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Stay out of trouble. Don't be a loser. You know, and you sacrifice yourself if you need to help out people that can't help themselves. Very cool. Hit us up with some tiers. How should people, like, if someone's got $50 or $60 to spend, they're like, yeah, I like Englewood. I'm backing this thing. They got $50 or $60 to spend. Where are they going on this?
Well, I'm definitely pointing people towards the Windy City special. It's everything that I offer. It's the T-shirt that we put together, the Born in Blood T-shirt, the pinup that just got finished recently as well. The director's cut of the comic, which includes the comic itself, which is 36 pages, the sketches of my lead artist, Brian, fan art contest where the top 5 fan art entries are going to get put in there. I've also had other people, Vinny included, that have done like sketches of the lead character as well. I'm going to throw those in there too. A foreword written by me about the inspirations for the comic and things along those lines, plus a digital copy as well. So it's quite a bit of good stuff for only $60 too.
Yeah,
I gotta finish that.
Well, finish it. Don't screw them up on a schedule. And this book is going to be now. How much more time do we have in the campaign?
Well, campaign closes in about let's see here, in about 16, 17 days, so a little over 2 weeks.
Okay,
and it will have an in-demand period while we are finishing the book up, and This will be shipping out in late September, early October.
I love to hear when books are shipping. I like to know deadlines, number of pages, when books are shipping. That's how my mind is always working. Like, all right, how do we put this thing together?
Exactly.
This would be a great first book for you, Micah. You're going to be so thrilled to have this in print, and the people that back it are going to be so excited to get it. All right, so everybody, you really should be backing this book, and we got to get Micah over the total. Not Micah or Mika, over the total. A man of many names. Excellent. Vinny, I want to jump to Wenger's book, Super Harem. And I want to because I know something about this because I've heard Wenger talk about this. But Wenger, I want to talk to you a little bit about your background in as a comics fan and as a comics creator. So educate me, brother. I mean, where the hell do you come from with this amazing personality, this really cool concept with this really cool art, and here's this book that people really like already?
Well, seriously, the only thing I've ever wanted as long as I can remember is to be a comic book creator. So that's all I want. And at 38, I achieved my goals. I've created a comic that people want. You know, I grew up, me and my buddy Keith, we would spend all our time in my parents' basement drawing our own comics and trying to outdo each other. And that was my childhood. Like, that's all I've ever wanted, honestly.
That's really cool, man. That's really cool. So how did you get the idea for the idea for Super Harem is really, really cool. But tell it in your version.
Well, I guess it's kind of like a dark take on the Japanese manga genre of harem, where you have this bland main character and he's surrounded by all these very it doesn't have to be a male, but they're surrounded by all these very attractive suitors. So the point of it is it's like a fantasy, like you can put yourself in that character's shoes and pretend that you're them, and you say, oh, I like this waifu or I like that waifu. But of course, in my version of it, it's actually not a desirable position because the protagonist, Tim, who has these strange powers, any woman he sleeps with gets these superpowers. There's actually a huge drawback in that it also summons these giant world destroying monsters. So every time that he has sex, there's a chance he could destroy the world, and it's like just too heavy a weight on him. And that's where we come into the story that he's very depressed, and he's just kind of been hiding himself away for an undetermined amount of time.
So is he the only one in the world that we see anyway that has this special power that every time he has sex with a woman, she has superpowers, and then these monsters come out?
Well, what happened is, and we're going to get into this more into volume 2. We're only really going to get a peek at it at the end of this, unless we reach all our stretch goals, and that's going to double the length of the book. But the world of Super Harem, the bigger world, is basically if Alex Jones was right about everything. So
Wow.
the real villains are the Illuminati, and they have a city underground where they rule the world, and they did an experiment on Tim to create this portal into hell, and that's where the powers come from. This is the storyboard that I drew. So if you back the high tier, you're going to get an ash can that's that. So you get 2 different versions of Super Harem. You get one that Joe Ball drew, and you get one that I drew. That's the famous Carl Oro poster.
Yeah,
that is. I've got this new mic. See, I got it working. How's that sound?
Sounds fantastic.
Very good.
Yeah, I want to. Let me see. I had something. Instead of doing my usual pitch, I just want to sing "The Man Who Sold the World." We passed upon the stair. We spoke of was and when.
With that art,
although I wasn't there, he said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control.
Mike on this one.
You're face to face with the man who sold the world.
And that's Wenger. And this is his book, Super Harem. And that is enough for anybody to buy this.
That's how it feels to be Tim, the protagonist of this story.
Let's just go through a couple of the tiers. I like to get to that $50 level, because basically if people are going to back you, they don't need to spend $9 to back you or whatever. That art by Joe Ball is amazing, by the way. We should all steal Joe Ball away from him.
He is an amazing talent. I like to keep things simple. We've got 3 tiers. We've got a low tier, a middle tier, and a high tier.
Okay.
So,
all right, the low tier. Let's do the low tier. Is what, digital?
$8 you get a digital copy.
Okay.
$25 you get a physical copy signed by me and a mini poster of the Carlo Rowe art that you see everywhere. And the high tier, you get the poster, the physical copy signed by me. You get the ash can that's my version of Super Harem, and you'll also get a personal sketch by Joe Ball.
Wow.
Which I would say that our high tier is a very good value, because Joe Ball, you can see he's such a great artist. He's going to be in demand once this book gets out there.
Yeah, I would hire him as second. I mean, he's in that Rob Willis category. Really?
Yeah, you're going to want to have some art from Joe Ball. I can promise you that.
Help me out again. How many pages is Super Harem?
It's 48 pages, but if we get to 24K, we're going to double that.
Is this almost? That's doubles a lot. That's a lot of pages. How many?
Yeah, so
a lot of pages
also,
done, or is a bunch of this done?
Well, I think that he's got about 15, 20 pages.
Yeah. Cool.
But we we're about to hit our first stretch goal, which is 12K, and that's going to get it colored. So
they turn the whole book color.
Yeah, the more money we get, the more value we're going to pass on to the customer.
That's fantastic. Yeah, really, really fantastic. And manga or not, or I'm not super into I don't know manga well, but just a very cool concept and really cool, interesting art. And I can see why everybody would want to back this. So everybody should back Super Harem. And the links for all these cool campaigns is in the description. That's really, really cool. And I love that this has also been like your first book. Just all you guys producing your first books and having them look like this and be at this level is just amazing. I mean, COMICSGATE is really a miracle. But it's also because you guys are working incredibly hard. So I admire it a lot. I really, really do.
Yes.
All right.
Super Harem is sexy ladies and giant monsters.
I mean, there's nothing else you should want other than that. If somebody wants something else other than that, they should stop because that's plenty. All right, let's jump to. They're absolutely wrong. Vim, let's jump over to Scott and let's take a look at the amazing. I mean, this is a great campaign to be associated with COMICSGATE. The color is great. The story is great. Scott is great. So let's get some Scott action going. Scott, tell us about DOORKICKERS.
So before I get started, I want to ask Matt, hey, why don't we have that awesome image as your like keystone image when you open your?
I was going to give him a hard time too about that.
Well, yeah, he told me that yesterday. Indiegogo is slow about changing things. I actually did upload it to change, but it just hasn't happened yet.
The irony is, if you look at the top of my Indiegogo campaign here, you see how I got the gallery.
Yeah,
I literally posted that gallery in response to him saying that to you.
You saw it on the show.
Originally, I just had the first image up, but then I was like, you know what? I got so many great images.
Yeah,
so,
you do.
And so one of the things that, before I dive into the campaign, I want to put a little sunshine on something. So go to the second image there in that gallery. Okay, so that is the YouTube video that is an audio play. That's essentially, I did a team up with these guys, the Nightmare Alley YouTube channel. And I gave them some of my Bible for the background of DOORKICKERS. And they took that Bible and they turned it into like a conspiracy theory, WikiLeaks kind of.
Wow.
Yeah. So they do horror, audio, spoken word type stories and stuff like that. So they adapted that.
That's insane.
And so we've got some ideas for some future collaborations to include like in universe, like potentially telling the same story from one as a comic, like a 10-page backup, and then them doing their Professor Creepy, I think is the name of the character, the narrator. And so like having my team interact with him directly based on spreading word about their existence. So
that's brilliant. What's the name of them?
So that's Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare Alley. Okay. Yeah, we should all look at that. That's their YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's it's a new channel, so they're just now kind of collecting their initial followers. So I totally recommend you guys check it out.
Yeah, we have to. That's fantastic. That's really interesting. All right. So tell us what DOORKICKERS is.
So DOORKICKERS is essentially a special operations team that fights supernatural and other enhanced threats with magic and technological means. If you think of the classic spy movie as being James Bond, right? But then if you said, well, what's a realistic version of James Bond look like? Well, it looks like, the Bourne Identity, right? Oh, much more gritty, much more grounded, much more real. So I want to do the same thing. If Men in Black or Hellboy is this kind of fantastic version of secret organizations dealing with things that go bump in the night. Yeah, I want to make a grounded, gritty version of that reflects how we would really approach that kind of stuff in the real world. And so I'm basing it on my personal experience, you know, in the military and deployed to combat and things like that, and trying to bring that lens to this type of a story.
So you would know how a team would approach a situation after they have a certain amount of intelligence on it and they get support in the field. I've never been military, but you know, just having seen.
Well, the other part of it is there's always logistics behind a story, right? And you know, they always have to simplify that kind of stuff in any kind of given, you know, like for instance, when I was looking at Vinny's story, I wasn't thinking, man, that chick is hot. You know, when I was looking at those pages, I was like, I wonder who makes those clothes in that style in that post-apocalyptic future. You know, I mean, that's the kind of, you know, kind of stupid questions that enter into my head. So that's the kind of, I try to hit that at every step of the way, you know, to include stuff that I put in the panel descriptions. You know, Americans just don't operate by themselves in foreign countries. So like in the first page, you see kind of the Ukrainian special forces backup that they have, kind of isolating the targets so that they can kind of do their thing.
Scott, you've been a comics fan all your life?
Oh yeah.
Wow. And this is the first comic that you are writing and publishing? Well,
so I've dipped my pen into the comics, you know, well, going back into the late 90s. I kind of almost broke in back then, but you know, it just came up a little short. I ended up ghostwriting a couple things under you know, for names that we would all recognize, which is kind of, I was kind of surprised at how much of that goes on in the industry.
That is
surprising. Well, I mean, you know, like, you know, big writer turns in a one-page treatment, and they turn that over to somebody who then writes a full script for it. And then that person who writes the full script is nowhere to be found on any of the credits.
Wow.
So I did that a couple times. So I got some good practical experience, but then I really wanted to write movies. So I really focused on that. And I finally, you know, once 9/11 happened, I got back in the Army after having a break in service. And then I just kind of left it all behind and didn't really think about it.
Very interesting. And do you have any education in writing, like screenwriting or anything like that?
Well, so I, when I was in, I've got a undergrad in fine arts, and so you know, drawing comics. I mean, my kind of art skill never really lend itself to this type of drawing. And I mean, you know, anybody can learn if they practice hard enough, but I just never.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
To be good at really anything, you just got to really want to do that, almost to the exclusion of other things. And I've never been that kind of guy. I'm more of a, you know,
a team guy.
Well, I'm a B grade polymath. I'm not really a genius, but I'm really interested in a bunch of stuff. So I turn into a jack of all trades, master of none.
Well, you know, your artist is damn good, and your colorist is really good.
Oh man, you know, so going back to the team, you know, this book would be nothing without the team that I've surrounded myself with. And, you know, both of them are fairly young in the industry. Ian, the artist who's doing this, so that's his art. You can see there under that DOORKICKERS banner. He's from Indonesia. He's done some pro gigs over the last 3 years, but he has not been like a big name, and he hasn't been on real big books. He's done some stuff for Alterna and a couple other small indie companies, but he's still waiting for his big shot at something big. So hopefully DOORKICKERS would be a good stepping stone for him. And then my colorist, I mean, I think she worked at a coloring studio in Indonesia, but this is her first solo gig. And I just could not be happier with how her colors have turned out. And, you know, I'll be honest with guys, if, you know, I know everybody wants Kyle, but if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle is great, but he's also like completely unavailable always.
That's exactly right. So Farah, my colorist, I know for a fact would appreciate work. So if anybody hears this looking for a colorist, you know, I can definitely pass along and put you in touch with her.
And Scott, you're if anybody wants to reach out to you, you know, for that or any other reason, you're what is your Twitter?
Yeah, so Twitter is M Scott McCullough, MCCULLOUG, with no H, and then Instagram is the same thing, but add the H to the end.
Cool. And Wenger, what's your Twitter?
It's at RealBBeb.
Makes sense. And Micah, your Twitter?
Mine is at Mind of Micah C.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, let me reach out to you for Farah because I mean, I like to just see. I need to see work done to just see the process move along. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, could you see, like, even just between your black and white and your color on this one page, there's so much life there on that one page. And if that page wasn't drawn, the project wouldn't exist. The only thing that takes an idea and turns it into a thing is when it begins to be executed.
Well, so you know, when it comes to, you know, the tone of something, she has just really she's got a great eye for that. So, like, if you go back up to that page, page 4, the one where we were just talking about,
This one?
the one where he's kind of doing the spell. Right here, this page right here. So if you look at that page, on that top panel, it was just, you know, it wasn't really lit. You can see some harsh shadows around the doorway, but that's about it. That's your indicator of light, right? So she brought the whole kind of glowing hands, and, you know, the idea that he would have some effect, but I didn't say, listen, I want them to be strong light sources or anything like that. That was a decision she made.
Isn't that amazing that when you start working with people and they have an idea about how to execute something that you want to do, and to them it might just be a moment, to you or me to execute that, you know, writing it, developing it might have been 4 or 5 hours and it might not have been as good.
Well, you know, one of the things, you know, in the military, it's always important to understand the intent behind an order that you're given. And so what I feel like is she really understood what intent I had for the panel, and really brought that to life. You know, the second panel there, you see those kind of waves traveling across the group that kind of conveys the idea that some kind of force is affecting them, you know, without, you know, dropping exposition that says the waves of seizure grabbed the audience and held them silently in place, right?
So that was not in the script.
Not at all.
For the artist.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I talked about what effect was happening, you know, to these people.
And she just translated that in color?
Exactly.
Micah, what do you think of that? It's pretty good.
I would agree. It's always interesting to see whenever an artist or a colorist is able to kind of pick up on details of what you think you're looking for and translate it even better.
Well, and also think about, like, how am I going to show this? You know, how am I going to show this? And, you know, they're getting a page rate, and it's not their project. I mean, there may be bonuses and bonuses and stuff like that, but still, it's not like it's their personal passion project they've been thinking about for 10 years. That's very impressive. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it definitely shows a level of dedication to the work. That's for sure. And I think that's going to be something that'll translate to success. And obviously, I think you already reached goal with Door Kickers, haven't you?
No, I'm about 1,200 shy.
Okay. Let's look at some Door Kicker tiers. Let's get that. Let's attack that 1,200.
Well, so like a lot of you guys. Well, yeah, just start at the top. So like a lot of you guys, I have I have a digital tier, but my featured tier is both covers. So why both covers, Vice both covers with the pinup. Well, this is the cheapest. If you just want to get the best value for money, this is your best bet. So rather than trying to push, you know, more product to people, I'm trying to give people the option that's the best value for money. Now I do have a hidden tier. So if somebody is, you know, essentially going to wait till the end, my recommendation is you sign up for my mailing list, which is in a lot of my social media posts. Heck, I might even put it in. Well, I probably won't put it on the campaign page. The idea is that I'm sending out updates about weekly to my mailing list. And in that mailing list, until I have, as long as I have perks left to claim, and that hidden tier will be the hidden tier, which is a significant discount from what you can see here. So, so that's a good deal. I've got the digital, as you can see there, but kind of a lot of people kind of gave me a little crap about the fact that your digital is $25, but your signed copy is $25. Well, the idea is that the digital is not meant for guys like you and me, like dudes in America. The $35 to get the shipping is fine. But like Ro mentioned when I was talking with him in the War Campaign stream, for me to send that to him in Canada, shipping is outrageous. And so if he's going to buy a signed copy, he's going to have to end up paying $45 for that signed copy. If he just wants to read the story and have it, to own it, to have on his iPad or something like that, then he just buys the $25 digital tier and he's good to go.
That cover is by Narwhal, who's an amazing artist. All right, well,
yeah, the cover B right there is Narwhal. And as you see under the signed comic here, there's also a Narwhal cover tier. So that's a new addition within this past week. A lot of people have asked me, hey, is there any way I can just get his cover? So I made it. If people ask, then you do it.
Yeah, he's got a following.
But the thing I really like about his art is that it's a completely different thing than Ted's art. I feel remiss not mentioning Ted when we were looking at the other cover. But
he's very good. Ted's your penciler and inker.
Yeah, well, Ted is the cover artist.
Okay.
For cover A, and he's this. And if you remember from Eric Weathers' book, the door gunner that's on the B-17 that doing, that's the same guy.
Holy cow!
Yeah, he's very talented, and he can do guns and he can do detail, and which is very different than what you see from Narwhal.
Oh yeah, different, completely different.
And so that's what I wanted. I wanted just kind of a different style. It's the same characters, but just a completely different style. So I absolutely got that.
Yeah, look, as a first project, I mean, you guys should not be able to do this. It's amazing. These are all like top tier, great looking, really interesting books. It's fantastic that you guys can do this. I guess it's technology and the internet and whatever the heck it is, but it's not trivial to make comics like this. And you guys are working really hard to do it, but I don't know. I'm just really blown away by the talent and the execution of this stuff.
It's like you guys were talking about before I jumped on, talking about people who are doing some of the best work of their lives. And you've got other people who are coming right out of the gate making pro level work. Well, the reason why is because there is something to be said about, just the kind of atmosphere within COMICSGATE, but ultimately we're working for ourselves. We're not working for the man, we're not working to put money in somebody else's pocket. Now, it's like any entrepreneur. I mean, if you're a computer programmer and you're working for Microsoft, you're going to work so hard and you're going to get paid probably fairly well. But if you've got your own idea and you have the ability to strike out on your own, you're always going to make more money, working for yourself than you are for somebody else. So I think, and when you own it, you're definitely going to put your heart and soul into that project. And I think that's what you're seeing here a lot.
Yeah, it's all over the page. It's all over the page. And you're really, these guys in Indonesia who are doing art and coloring for you, they're doing a beautiful work. And obviously you're overseeing it and you're giving them feedback too, because this is fantastic execution. This is really good.
I can't ever imagine that any artist. So I'm in addition to working with these guys, I'm doing some character breakdowns with some well-known COMICSGATE guys. I just, Matt Weldon's one of them, Kelsey, Eric, a bunch of guys we all know the names of.
Great.
And somebody said on a private DM the other day, he's like, man, I've for just like a character sketch, I've never gotten so much reference just for like one person. Yeah. I was like, man, the people who would be into this kind of book are going to care about what the gear looks like. So you got to be, you got to care about that stuff.
Yeah, it's great to be meticulous and to have backup for everything. And no one's ever going to see all the backup. but they'll know when it's there when they pick up a book and they see the result. The integrity's there.
Yeah, and I'm not a Nazi about it either. I mean, look, well, some people may think I'm a Nazi.
Always better to not be that.
But
I have a funny Jim Shooter story about that. I'll tell you real quick. And Jim Shooter is exactly that way. So
he's not a Nazi. Stop it.
No. We're not even joking about that nonsense. No, he's well, then he is, but not a Nazi, but joking about it. So Shooter's first new universe was Marvel's New Universe. And he created a character called Starbrand. And there was a part in the story where somebody was calling to report to NASA that they had seen what they thought was a UFO. So any normal person would just be like, all right, I'll just kind of fake this out and nobody knows. And what did I see on TV before? But Shooter was never like that. He was very heavily referenced and into integrity of quality of work. So he called NASA and reported that he saw a UFO and just took note of what the conversation was like and what it was. And we could all do stuff like that. We could all actually, if there's something that we want to make a point of a story or you want to really resonate with someone, go from a real life example, do the research, do the homework to the extent that you can represent it accurately. And of course, no one really knows, but there's a feel that people get when you back it up with something really cool. But that's my Jim Shooter Starbrand story. But like you were saying, Scott, you're all about that with the reference and really making something.
Well,
sharp.
I mean, we see it in movies, right? I mean, even science fiction movies, or when something's fantasy, but you also know, man, this seems very grounded. There's something very real here. It's like, I feel like if I were to peek my head around the corner of the set where you can't see off the screen, that you would see things going on that lived in that world, And then there's other stuff that you're like, I can't believe we haven't seen a boom mic fall into the screen yet, because they're just not about it's just not well thought out. And so it's kind of like, what you were talking about with the post-apocalyptic stuff, like with a lot of these post-apocalyptic worlds, you can tell who thinks about like how people survive and what are the logistics behind their way of life versus the ones where everything's a big hand wave except for the focus on the screen.
Yeah. And some people don't care, but the people that are going to really love it are going to care. And it's going to make a lot of difference. And you'll know you did it right. And also, it's your world. So you put that work in, it's yours to go back to do more things in. So it's really fantastic. All right, we're in the middle of tears, and here we are talking about just interesting world stuff.
So the kind of the big tier with the most stuff is the collector's bundle. That's going to have a print, and I can tell you right now, there's going to be other stuff. I mean, until I got to get funded before I start really hyping the stretch goals.
Sure.
So right now all my stretch goals live between $10,000 and $20,000, and I have some ideas for some pretty cool stuff. But I mean, ultimately, it's just going to be an idea until it's like I got to focus on getting funded, and then once I get funded, then I got to start working to get Ian working on pages again, and then I got to get to the. I mean, we all are steeped in the logistics of getting our own comics made. So we all know there's like the real price of a full campaign, right? And so I can tell you right now, $5,000 is not going to pay for this book. So, as long as I don't want to pay, put my own money too far into it, I got to keep working to get that.
Well, it's good that you're being really careful and really practical about it. And, I just like to see that a lot, to be honest, because I don't like guys working so hard on these things and then not having money left over for all their efforts, So, it does just take that work. It takes that diligence. You're putting the work in. The quality's great. Your team is great. If only you had nudity like Super Harem. Super Harem have nudity or no? Wenger?
Yeah, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. It's not porn. It's a sexy comedy. So you can think like they used to do in the 90s, like something about Mary or a road trip.
Can I pretend it has nudity if I want?
Yeah, I mean, you could like draw nipples over the
Okay.
girls if you wanted to. Just
Yeah, really, people should buy at least 2 copies of each of these comics so they can draw naked stuff on them.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, I mean, come on. I mean, I think there's a chance here for like a PG version and then like an R-rated version, as a,
Okay, I'll tell you what. If DM me if you want me to draw nipples on your copy of Super Harem.
I like that idea. Not to denigrate the fantastic door kickers with my notes.
I think I went up to all you guys because a couple of streams people kept saying that they beat off to my work. So I have a gloss laminate cover.
But isn't that the same guy all the time? And isn't that me? No, it's not me.
What was it? No.
Well, I gave him some really good advice that he didn't take. I told him that he should make a stretch goal that he would make all the boobs bigger.
No, I told you. I had all the
that is a good idea.
Yeah.
On
bigger
no.
titties.
Can't do that. I told you everything's very specific. The clothes, the look. I explain all that stuff. So the main character is more athletic, so it's a little bit smaller. The one with the red jacket, she's a little bit bigger. I told you, I have all diversity in size.
Diversity. Yeah, but they could still be
all be a little bigger though.
Yeah, we could still do this with a stretch goal though.
Well, there is such a thing as too big, but there's never such a thing as
I just reached out tonight to the artist.
A little bit bigger.
I just reached out to one of my artists, and I was like, "We got to do a sexy cover. We got to come up with something amazing."
So,
all right. So, sorry. Let's continue our fine work on door kickers.
No,
so,
I was just hold on a second. I was just going to tell when Kelsey said, I'll do your female character because Kelsey's doing one of these character illustrations for me, and I said okay. And then he comes back to me a couple days later and he's like, hey, do I have to draw with all the body armor on because
Kelsey.
And I immediately sent him reference that showed how he could make her look tactical without body armor over covering, her chesticle region. So
you're scary with that tech stuff. You must have files on everybody.
Well, I mean, I know what I'm looking for. Tell
us about the Wenger secrets that you have.
20 seconds on. It's not files. It's 20 seconds on Google. But if you know what to search for, you can find anything.
What are these character illustrations? What character illustrations are these guys doing?
So I'm thinking about putting in the back, but once again, until this would be like a kind of a low tier stretch goal.
Okay.
But the idea is there will be pages like out of, like a James Bond dossier or actually they're going to look like the old Marvel, the official handbook to the Marvel universe.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it'll have their, some background
I have a brilliant suggestion for that, which actually is brilliant because it's really relevant. And this is a good super harem idea too. And even Englewood, of course, Englewood as well. It seems like a lot of us guys are doing like, hey, if I get to another $5,000, everyone's going to get a trading card, by Kelsey or somebody cool. And it does get people excited. In fact, I'm kind of talking myself into doing it right now, but I have to think about it. But for you guys that are looking at, especially if you're having guys do work already, a trading card, an extra trading card that everybody gets is relatively inexpensive and people love them. People seem to really like that extra thing.
Absolutely. I had to explain it to one of my fans last night because he's really big into the stuff and, the dude might as well be like an evangelist for my work because he has bought 7 copies of Englewood to just give to his friends.
What a man!
Wow. I love it. That's so, but he was asking me about it because he's like, well, I'm looking forward to reading this. He's like, but what's the appeal? I'm like, people like stuff.
Yeah,
people like collectibles, and especially and whenever people see a goal to be pushed for, and with these comics, they feel like they're a part of something, that they're just as much in the comic as the person creating it, and they love to reach these goals and make it bigger and continue to grow it. So a lot of people really dig it.
Yeah, it's really worth looking at.
Well, that's part of the appeal of COMICSGATE, right? So when you bought Ethan's book last year, the thing that has kept you around has been every page in that book almost has been posted to his Twitter in almost a final version, without words, but nobody's buying blood, Cyberfrog blood honey for the story. They're buying it for the art, and
Yeah.
so you feel like you're part of the process, and because of that, you have some ownership in it. That that you have even when I was a kid, right? Like you had to wait. They may tease you with a cover like a month before the book comes out, but that's it. You never had any idea what was going on in the story. Here, I can get feedback from people that says, "Oh, I really like this guy, and I was planning on killing him on about 24 pages."
Yeah,
I may change my mind now because everybody responds to that character.
but sometimes you do have to just do it.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, I may be doing it because I just need to kill somebody, but
Yeah,
and this guy's as good as any. Well, this subset really likes him. Well, okay, well then, I can introduce somebody else and kill that person and get the same effect. Now, if it's part of their character arc, that's a different story. But everybody's got to die sometime.
Vinny, why don't we take a look at Scott? That's fantastic, and it's fun to talk to you and learn more about your background and what you're doing and how you're doing it. And we'll see how you do if you do the trading card stretch goals or what you do. I think you get a Kelsey. See, the thing is, you don't have any COMICSGATE guys attached yet to your project,
right?
And if you've noticed, Eric. Oh yeah. You have no
and Eric's
a lot of value. He does, but as a trading card, if you add a Kelsey Shannon trading card, it does pique people's interest a little bit on the stretch goal. So just kind of see how it all comes together. Vinny, you have your art book up?
Yeah, I pulled that up as well. In case we talked about it earlier, but I never showed it.
Let's talk about your art book.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's pretty simple. It's a 52-page full cover, all different over the years. So I have some original characters and drawings as well in here. Some characters you might see or know.
Who is she? She seems nice.
Yeah. Like I said, once you see the book, I can't really say everything, but I think you can take.
Looks like Wolverine, Kingpin.
Well, possibly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Where's that mad guy that used to have on YouTube?
Oh, that was from my my first series, Through the Woods.
She's cute too.
Yeah, this is the cover for Volume 2, a close-up of it. Some monsters. So this is some of the work you'll be seeing in the actual book. So
wow, that really.
And then here's the cover too.
Can you go back on the monster guy for a second?
Yeah.
Just the use of color, that really feels like nighttime.
Thanks, man.
Really feels like, yeah, if you really look at it and what's interesting about that is I don't know. I've seen a lot of art. I've bought a lot of art. I've read a lot of art. And, I've read a lot of comics with art. But it's very interesting to see you deliberately pull off this is nighttime, and I want the person who looks at this to think about how this is nighttime.
Right.
Was that a big part of composing that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That is really cool. What
this had started as just kind of a commission type of piece, but I was doing it for myself because I was gonna go to this convention, Spooky Empire, and who actually played the sea creature in the original in the Universal Monster movie. He was gonna be there. He's the last living one. So I'm like, yeah, I want to do a cool piece. So I had inked it up really, really tight. I knew what I wanted because he's one of my favorite characters. So as soon as I posted online, I had 3 people come after me that they wanted to buy it. So I had done 2, one to sell and one to actually get signed by the guy, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a really special piece.
Yeah. So yeah, this is exclusive to the second art book, the one that's Volume 2. That's with City of Venus. But yeah, and in this, I also have the cover to this convention style sketchbook. So on this campaign,
Nice.
I have the volume 1 art book signed. The second one has the art book and the sketch 20 pages, different like convention sketches I have in there of some portrait work. I have 1 or 2 colored pieces in the book as well to kind of show people like a before and after, like how my process is. So it's like, you know, either like tight pencils, sometimes like a loose, but it depends.
Oh, cool.
In most cases, I paint over my work entirely. But it really kind of depends. Like we did a ton of work, so I painted them normally. You can see all the line work, and then I did like little effects here and there to get, like you said, like to get that nighttime feel. That
the
the
nighttime feel is just classic. That's great.
Yeah,
that may be my favorite Vinny piece so far until I see more.
Well, you gotta get the book, man. It's 52
I
pieces
gotta
in
get
there.
a few of these books.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
All right, let's just talk about the tears there. Look, she's cute too.
Yeah,
it's a lot of Vinny art.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it.
I think so.
Sometimes these boxes show the full image, and other times they crop them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just their thing.
Yeah.
So this one's 52 pages.
Yeah. They both are. Volume 1 and Volume 2. They're 52 pages each. So yeah. So please snatch that up. I mean, you guys are gonna love it because I had worked professionally in a number of different places. I was a lead designer at McFarlane Toys. I'm a storyboard artist. I worked for Toy Biz, Randy Bowen, Diamond Select. This is just a ton of different places. My quality's up there. I was supposed to work with Marvel. They screwed me out of it, out of my contract 2 weeks before I signed it. That's good old Joe. Story a number of times. I'm sure people are sick of it.
Yeah, it's a good story, but yeah, a lot of people. It's a rough business. That's why we're all doing our own thing, making it work for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why everything that I do, I pour just a ton of detail in it. I want to, make sure everything's right. Just like Scott said, you want to get all the details. Because like to me, growing up, that's what I always look for in my artwork and things that I like of other people's work. Frazetta was like one of my biggest influences.
It seems like it's one of the things that you guys get as artists, like get really inspired about, that make you just want to start copying, drawing, learning, and doing your own art.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, to create a story with this powerful.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Look at that. Beautiful work, Vin. All right,
Thanks,
Vin,
man.
let's do this. Let's jump on College of the Dead. We'll do a quick run through and let people know about my exciting project and show people the art that I got a lot of great feedback on today. That was really very cool. The cover of volume 2, the second book. But if you would jump on to College of the Dead, I'll explain to people what that's about. Micah will ask me an interesting question. Wenger will make a few jokes. Scott will tell us about logistics. And here we go.
We got a whole pattern here, like
we're getting a rhythm down.
Yeah.
Well, you need that in a good panel. Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has their expertise. Let's throw a couple of girls on there next time too, make it even more fun. All right, Vinny, thank you for getting us on there. College of the Dead has been a passion project for me. This is something we spent about 2 years working on, me and the team of guys that put it together. It's a zombie apocalypse graphic novel. It takes place on a college campus, and professors and students are kind of thrown together as they have to deal with the zombie apocalypse. So the zombies are deadly. Characters do get killed that you'd think never would get killed and turn into zombies. But characters do survive too, and the group goes on. It's a continuing story. It is 140 pages. It's black and white, and it really, really came out great. The book is complete. It's done. We have a cover that was colored by Kyle Ritter, everybody's favorite colorist. And we just love the cover. The book has been doing pretty well. We have about 14 days left on it. This was funded for us because this thing's been long since done and paid for and ready to print for quite a while now. So We're a little bit better than half the goal of the flexible goal, which basically just means we're at whatever it is, just about under $2,800 US. And we were funded as far as producing this when it was $1,000 that we were going to produce this. It's no problem. So we've got a preview here of 12 pages of sequential art, so you can kind of see how the story flows. And the writer is Stefan Petruka. He's written a lot of comics before. He wrote X-Files for years with Charlie Adlard. And it really feels like you're in a zombie apocalypse. It's pretty wild. So, yeah, as Vinny is going through, you get to kind of see this is a good bunch of the interiors, but there's really, it's a 140-page book. There's a lot of story there. There's a lot of art there. And we're getting a lot of really good feedback on it. And I'm just excited to get to put this book out and ship it. It's going to be shipping October of 2019. It'll be delivered actually by October of 2019 everywhere in the world. And we are fast at work at finishing College of the Dead book 2. And the cover for that is at the bottom of this listing, and we just put it out on Twitter today. We got some amazing feedback on it. Ethan Van Sciver retweeted it for us, and got a lot of really great feedback. It's a very cool image of college students with a classic graduation picture. They're in caps and gowns, and they're holding their diplomas, but they're zombies. And so you'll see in a second as it pulls up. It's really, really cool. And that's not there it is. That's not going to be in the College of the Dead book 1. That's the cover of book 2. Awesome. But there's a lot more good. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? And a couple of people were asking me like, well, how did he layering? And it's like, I don't know that stuff actually. But it's the artist who did College of the Dead book 1. He did this cover for book 2, and we're trying to see if there's time for him to do another cover as well. And there probably will be like an alternate cover, just with some other really cool idea that we had. So yeah, it's just great to be able to do this kind of passion projects and really get these things out to people so they can read them and enjoy them. The tiers on this are very simple. I kept the tiers simple, and we've got the basic book that's $25. There's also an Ashcan edition. Our Ashcan edition does have the full script. It's got every word that Javier saw, the artist, as instructions. And then we've got Javier's layouts of each of the pages, rough layouts, so that we could approve them to make sure he understood what we were looking for. And so we can incorporate in his ideas to really make the book cool as well. And so that's a 100-page additional book, the Ashcan. The regular book is that $25 tier. And then there's this book that also we developed as an art book, because all the panels are the same size in this. It was a deliberate choice. I wanted to do that for storytelling purposes. And I like how it came out. And we wound up with these 8x8 panels, which is what that book is. It's an 8x8 art book that's black and white. It's 220 pages, and it's all of the single panels at full size without any lettering on them. That's the art book that's part of that complete set at $85, which includes also the Ashcan and the regular book. So for people that really like the art, it's a chance to see the art without all the lettering on top of it. Well, Vin, you have been an incredible help with this additional screen. I appreciate that. Guys, it's been fantastic to have you as part of this panel. I'm really excited about all your projects. As I've been saying, and I'm just never going to stop saying it, I'm really impressed with the level of work that you guys are putting out. The books look tremendous. I've published color comics. I've published black and white comics. I've published comics that are low budget with guys in studio, with guys who are all freelance. And when I say in studio, I mean our studio. We've had a lot of people we had to work with. It's very difficult to produce really heartfelt, good, solid work. And the COMICSGATE people are doing it. You guys are great examples of it. It's also impressive to get to know you guys too and really understand where you're coming from and why you love comics and why it's so important for you to be doing this and even talking about this on a Saturday night, because everybody can be doing something else. But hey, we love comics, so this is what we're going to be doing. Right. And I can be followed on my YouTube channels here at AdamEveryday.com, as well as halfspeedtucci.com is my YouTube channel. And Micah, your YouTube channel is
You just have to search my name under Micah Curtis, and I will be the first thing that pops up.
Bing Bang Boom, beautiful Micah Curtis. Everybody subscribe to Micah Curtis's YouTube channel. You'll see he's got a lot of cool pop culture stuff. He's been doing this quite a time. He's probably got the biggest YouTube channel of all of us. Wenger, you have a cool YouTube channel as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we talk about comics, and we also joke about cringe videos that I find on the internet. So if you like that, if you like to see weird stuff from online, that's what I do for the most part.
What's the name of your channel? How do we find it?
It's Warped Wenger.
Warped Wenger. And you put that into YouTube search, and Bing Bang Boom, we got Wenger.
Yeah, it should pop up. If it don't, that's YouTube. I don't know. I'm shadow banned on Twitter, so you have a hard time finding me unless you know exactly how to spell real Bebop.
I don't think
that's the way it is.
But if you put Super Harem in Twitter, we'll probably find you too.
Yeah, maybe.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah,
Worth a shot.
I just want to say, like, off something you were saying before you come over here.
Please do.
Like what you would be doing on a Saturday night. I love comics and I love the internet. So, like, this is what I want to be doing. And I found a way to do what I like to do and make money doing it. So I feel really blessed for that, and I am happy, thank God. I just want to give props to the big man upstairs.
You know what, Wenger, you're a good man to say that, and it's great to spend more time with you and kind of see what you're all about. I haven't been on too many streams with you, but you're real cool people, and I really like that idea of taking that gorgeous art of that color piece you have and turning that into a trading card stretch goal for like 15 grand. I think you really ought to look into that, man.
You're already getting it as a mini poster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but
all the physical tiers are getting the
poster,
the Carlo wrote art piece.
I'm not a trading card expert yet, but we got to figure this out, guys, because it seems to really move needles and get people excited.
I am going to probably get some more art done and do something like that, though, because people are just now really getting excited. I had my own audience and with the other, like, smaller channels that I've been on, so we did really well. But now we're really getting out there now that we're in demand, which I think is probably unprecedented. I don't know of another Indiegogo campaign that picked up after it was in demand, but we've been doing really well. We made almost $1,000 since that live stream with Ethan last night. So
yeah, that's it. Ethan can make that happen. He really can. He's got
real quick. Hey, I hate to bring up a point of logistics again, but
I love logistics.
You're talking about the cards, right? The trading cards. So, like, as we all know, it's hard if you have people who are geographically separated. It's hard to get all those signatures on the book, right? Mm-hmm. So, because you have to pay for shipping to them and then shipping back, or you have to fly them in, which is, probably costs actually more. But trading cards are a lot easier to get signatures for a lower shipping price point. And so it's a overall greater savings to so like Ian could literally I could send him digital files. He can get them printed in Jakarta, sign them, and then send them to me at a lower price point. So
that's
just something to think about.
That's a real option. When we did signed comics a long time ago, we did it a number of different ways, but one of the ways we did it was we had like this I want to say by like 4x6 card. It was a black and white card with a little bit of design artwork on it.
Yeah,
and we would send those cards to the artist to sign, and then we would give them to the printer to do bindery with. So they would fold it, and if you're saddle stitching, it's not too big a deal for them to do it. They do have to pay attention to what they're doing, and they have to be willing to do it, and they have to know they're doing it. There's a lot of different ways of getting things signed, but that's a very good option to have them printed locally where they're at, and then deliver them to you. The logistics are very important because it's part of your costs. Absolutely, I love logistics stuff too. Vinny, your YouTube channel. Brother, what is your YouTube channel?
Yeah, you could type in Vinny Art or my full name, Vinny Tartamella, whatever's easier for you. But
Is it Vinny Art?
VINNIEART.
Okay.
Just type that in. You should be able to find me. I got all kinds of videos. I have some showing you guys how to draw from scratch.
Nice.
And while I do it, I just kind of like ramble about, certain books and what the industry's doing, or other random crap that pops in my head.
Sounds interesting. A little scary, but interesting.
Well,
I saw a video that you did talking about City of Venus. It was excellent.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I got a couple of as well.
Very cool, man. All right, Scott, let's talk some. Now, Scott, do you have a YouTube?
No, I don't have time for that, man. I mean, it's just, real world is a busy place, and this comic stuff can only take up so much of my time. And
yeah, I know.
I thought about going old school, like your boy Zach did in the beginning with a cell phone, but even that, I mean, for every minute you're on the YouTube, you got to be thinking about the stuff that you want to present. I mean, unless you're that rare person who can just talk extemporaneously for hours at a time about various subjects.
Yeah, I do talk a lot, and sometimes I don't talk at all. But 9 times out of 10, I talk a lot.
Well, it's not the ability to be able to say words; it's the ability to be able to say words that people care about hearing. And I don't want to waste anybody's time with my prattling.
We love you, Scott. It's never a waste of time.
Well, I've got.
What's surprising is that we all become characters in a way, and we make each other more characters. And the thing is like if you look at my YouTube channel, there's different subjects of things that I happen to know a little this about or that about, or I happen to care about. And it's not like it's phenomenal or anything like that. It's not. Maybe we've changed some lives here and there, but no, the thing is, you just kind of get into it. But you don't do it if you're not comfortable doing it. And there have been guys who've had big successes that did not do it off their YouTube channel. They did it off of promoting themselves, just assertively, nonstop. Like Von Klaus with Monster MD. He has a YouTube channel, but he doesn't really live out of his YouTube channel or anything like that.
I've got an idea for a YouTube channel that I think may work and it may draw a following. Now, it may be limited, but still, I'm not trying to break any records here, but the idea of pairing, so Zach talks about some of the SJW stuff in comics, but if you notice in his reviews and things like that, he's really kind of backed off a lot of that kind of overt political discussion. So if you have like a politics and comics channel, especially with the election season, I think there's a lot of, especially if you're specifically talking about the things that are going on in the election and, the issues and the policy. And, I've got a background in international relations, so I'd be talking about foreign affairs policy and how it relates to the stupid comic books that are being put out by Marvel Comics and things.
What you do is you set it. What I found with me getting back into publishing comics is this. It was no matter how much work it was going to be, it had to be relaxing and enjoyable, and I had to do it with cool people that I got energy from. No matter how much energy I put into it, and I got that. And I can't do it. I have a busy life as well, and I can't do this unless I love what I'm doing. And even though maybe like 4 hours of live streaming one day, or it was really getting heavy there for a while. A lot of time, but totally worth it. A lot of fun. Great surprises, and it has to be that it's a relief and it's not a burden. And COMICSGATE is not a burden to me. Not a burden.
This is advice I'll give you, Scott, about building a YouTube channel. Just whatever idea you have about a video, just do it and put it on there, because you're going to gain confidence. You're going to get better. Just as soon as you start, that's the first step. You're going to learn. And you're going to get better, and you're going to just grow. You want to start growing as soon as possible.
And MICAH has more experience than all of us at this. But MICAH, as I was going to say to what Wenger was saying, Scott will be shocked at what is actually, quote, good enough, end quote.
Yeah, that's very true. Because I'll say this right now. I've been making videos longer than our boy Zach. I mean, he and I have known each other for years now, but I've been making videos longer than he has, and he is whooped, and Ethan too have whooped my ass when it comes to subscribers. And I put I do video editing and all this other stuff, and I can do it quite well. And I got spanked, but it's a lot of it from what I have noticed is how much of yourself you allow to be out there.
Yeah.
And that's the real kicker. And the way that it affects this element, the comic book element of things, is we live in a time where people are even more invested in the personality behind the product than ever before. And if you can show that, if you can reflect that, it can help one element builds off the other, and then vice versa. And it's definitely something that I've encountered. And I'm, the only thing that I would just say is that never close your ears to constructive criticism, and never be afraid if something's not working to stop it and try something else.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Great feedback. Guys, thank you so much for doing this. Everybody, thank you for listening to us. And the beginning of the stream is probably incredibly embarrassing and funny as we sort of realized like we're not on, but we are on, but it's like my technical problem. But really, really a pleasure. And thank you guys so much. It was really, really terrific. And we will be back and even a little more polished next time. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone. I hope that you smash it.
We're going to smash it like crazy, Super Harem style.
Likewise, buddy.
Absolutely.
Everyone's awesome here.
Especially Vinny.